it's so fun when something hits just pitch perfectly and everybody is into it, and just the speculation of what it could be starts to get exciting. Like, what a fucking fun conversation to have about such a fun character and such a fun studio for a game that looks so good already. Like, this is the good shit right here.
We closed out the state of play with Wolverine. This trailer looked very good. I am very fucking in. I think it answered a lot of questions that I had of like, and that a lot of people had of like, what's the fighting style going to be like? Are they going to go the actual like gory route, or is it going to be weirdly toned down? This game is fucking gory. We saw a guy get his head clawed. We saw a guy get ripped in half. This is going to be a fucking gory fucking game. And Kayla asks, did we get a date? Fall 2026. No actual date, just sometime in the fall. But Jerica, what did you think about the Wolverine trailer?
I think it's phenomenal. It looks incredible. I'm so glad Insomniac is finally ready to show us this game, because it's been way too fucking long. They showed this at the beginning of the decade, I feel like. Was it 2020, 2021? Sometime. No, I'm going too far.
No, I think you're absolutely correct.
I think it was 2021 when they first showed this.
Yeah. So it's been so long, and like, man, nothing, and we finally get a taste of it. So, and I'm not a big Wolverine knower. So
Okay.
Y'all, we have no Wolverine fans here. Chat.
I'm a Wolverine fan.
Okay,
Same.
we got
Yeah.
some. Okay, so I got some questions.
Okay.
It seems
ready
like
to
the
answer.
story, and I know we don't have. Oh my god, this is perfect. Wolverine's here. I have questions for you. Are you the Wolverine in the Insomniac game? Are you the same Wolverine in this universe? Cool.
No doubt.
No
Okay,
doubt, he
okay.
says. No doubt, bub.
Hey,
It does appear that Wolverine in the game has been living this lifestyle for a while.
Yeah, for sure.
Unlike Spider-Man, Spider-Man sort of has his powers. You get to know him. He's not early on in like what's presented in the movies a lot of times, trying to learn about his powers and whatnot. Seems the same for Wolverine here. But this does appear to be not super. I'm just used to Wolverine being old at this point.
Sure.
This looks like maybe a prime Wolverine. So do we get Wolverine, maybe not at the beginning stages of how he's handling being a mutant, but like, is this a part of the chapter where he learns to control it? Can he control his ability? Can he go berserk and not reel it in? Like, can he accidentally hurt somebody? So I think that would be a really interesting take on Wolverine as we're playing Wolverine.
Well, so I'm not like an uber knower, but X-Men has always been my favorite of all the superhero franchises. And so like with Omega Red being the villain, it seems there's probably going to be more than just Omega Red, but Omega Red was another like Weapon X thing, which is how Wolverine got his claws. So it'll probably have something to do with the Weapon X program, as most of his stories often do. But I don't think we saw enough to really know like timeline wise. But then in the post interview, which I think is always a great idea, and I think they should do it more often, when they were saying that like something interesting about Wolverine is that he can be an unreliable narrator because he doesn't always remember everything because he's been around for so long and all of his healing and all this bullshit. So it does seem like maybe I feel like him saying that there's going to be memory issues with Wolverine is one of the only clues we got about the actual story of this game. But it does seem like from what we've seen, he's got the X-Men Yellow and Blue. So he's in some capacity has been with the X-Men at this point in the game, because that's the costume he gets as part of that. So him, being alone, we don't know if it's probably safe to assume there's going to be some kind of X-Men cameos in this game, especially because we have the costume. But yeah, I don't know. He definitely looks on the younger side. So
yeah,
Jake, where's your head at?
I think we don't get a young Wolverine. I think that even though Wolverine looks young, Wolverine just always looks like Wolverine. I'm pretty sure, because he's like fucking. Well, he's not an immortal being, is he?
He's not immortal. He just
he heals. He heals.
He heals. So his life is extended like considerably.
Here's my guess on this story: is I think that it is. I'm drawing most of this from the interview that they just had and the things that they talked about. And if I'm trying to really put it all together, I'm guessing that this game is told from the future, where we're going to have like an old man Logan talking about his old adventure as Wolverine at a pivotal point in his life. And it'll be a flashback of like, you know, not maybe it's like how he sees it happening or how it really happened. But I think they're going to play with him in his odd fucking memory, I guess, is what I am thinking is the key here. And then the other thing that they said during the interview, the lead here with the funky ass yellow shirt, was that they really wanted to explore like the I guess dichotomy would be the right word, of like Wolverine being like this cold-blooded, merciless killer, but then can turn a page and be like this really kind and warm-hearted and like loving individual. And I think that's what they're really going to try to get to here, is like I think that they are going to try to tell a Wolverine story that makes us cry, which has been done.
Yes.
You've seen fucking Logan, but I think that they are going to try to tell like a story that is him wrestling with, you know, his violence and his actions and his past. And none of this that I'm saying is fucking like novel or anything like that. I think that they've done everything there is to do with Wolverine probably in the comics. Someone's watching this and they're ready to fucking say they already did that in Old Man Logan. But
I think the first game, I mean, there's been Wolverine games, but I think to this point where they can really have you dialed into like what Wolverine's thinking, like I'm eager to not like Wolverine a little bit in this game. Like,
Okay.
I hope he does things that we feel sort of shitty about. Not trying to bring in Last of Us. I unfortunately I've made a connection I didn't mean to, but like hearing the blog post and them talking about like how he can go berserk and like how that potentially could play with mechanics and how he plays, like I have a feeling that he might not be able to control it when he gets really angry. Not like the Hulk, but
for sure. I'm very interested to see if the like berserk moments are scripted or if it's like the God of War press L3 R3 to have Spartan rage. Or if there's something where like both are true.
Yeah, it's gotta have something.
You can control it, but then I wonder if there are times when it's like a scripted moment of like he is going absolutely fucking wild and all you can do is just keep killing things. But I don't know. I'm interested because like they're not leaning back from the gore, and from what we've seen, this seems to be a much smaller experience in scope than Spider-Man, which I think is probably the right decision. The open world Wolverine game. I don't know how that would really work.
No, it makes sense. He's not swinging around. He's just fast and apparently can jump high.
He can jump very high.
He can use his claws to climb in things, I think.
Yeah.
There'll be some large areas. I feel like Uncharted 4 is probably the best way to look at like the scope of what this game will be a lot of times. I think that maybe there'll be a couple levels where you get to explore this little portion of the city or this larger area of a map. And it might not get to those like full points where like there's those levels where you like have the Jeep and shit like that. But for the most part, you'll feel a certain amount of freedom, even though you're in an enclosed space.
What if, sorry, you said something that made me think of an idea. And like, I'm just getting, I'm still playing Donkey Kong Bonanza, but like, what if destructible environments was like a big part of this game and like utilizing things you find on the ground to hit people? Obviously he has his claws, but like, what if you extinguished your berserk mode and you couldn't use your claws for a certain moment and he had to like really like grab this pipe and like beat up someone and then, or you just pull the door like off this thing and like hit somebody? Like, I don't know. That'd be really cool. Like, destructible environments. Ooh.
Almost like a Sleeping Dogs type, where like the environments are very kind of a big part of the way that combat goes. That could be good. Because I don't know. I do also wonder. Like I'm itching for how this game. Like I want to get my hands on it to see how it feels. But then I also wonder, like, is it going to potentially feel rote if all you're ever doing is just clawing people. So like that could be a way to solve that a little bit of like using the environment, maybe things on the ground. Because like with Spider-Man, something that I think really elevates the combat of Spider-Man is all the various different moves that you get with the web of like whether you're like swinging people together, you're just shooting people to like slow them down. You have like the web bombs. There's like 18 different things that you can do with the web. There's only so much you can do with 6 claws. So I don't know. Yeah, well, I'm interested to see how that pans out.
It's interesting because I think like Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man was kind of, the combat was kind of shit on, I think, if I recall correctly a little bit. Like it's just basically like Arkham combat.
It's Arkham combat, yeah.
And then there were some gadgets, and then they had to drastically simplify the gadgets in the subsequent games, which I think they kind of got right or more right. But I don't think anyone goes home from playing Spider-Man and they go, God, the combat in that game was just so fucking great. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about the story, they're talking about the graphics, they're talking about the open world, they're talking about the web slinging, like the actual traversal. And it's twofold. I wonder, one, what is the combat going to be like? How are you going to make it, like what you guys are saying? What are they going to do to make the combat be the highlight? Because it has to be the highlight of this video game. They have to get that right. It has to be intricate enough to keep people interested, but simple enough to grab people and let them, pick up and play. But it's the other half is how, Jerica, you said it during your reaction. I watched it before we went live, where I'm so interested to see how he traverses this world, because Insomniac games are so much about traversal. You go back to like Ratchet and Clank, and like that game could be argued like outside of like Sonic started doing it, pretty big on like the grinding in third person games, like kind of pioneered what that looks like for a lot of modern platformers. And then even up through like into the Nexus, you had like the rocket skates, the rocket shoes or whatever. You were getting around those worlds. And then Spider-Man goes without saying, the slinging around the world makes a lot of sense. Obviously it's very, very fun to move around that area. But then with Wolverine, it seems like it's the one thing that they didn't really show here. Like there's one scene where he kind of slides down a rooftop and jumps to like the next rooftop, but it seems like a very scripted, like Uncharted style, like whoa, whoa, whoa. And then you hit X and he kind of goes where he's supposed to go. What is it going to look like to just like run around the corner, go from point A to point B? And how interesting can they even make that in the first place? I don't know.
My assumption, sorry, you go ahead, Jerker.
This is gonna help you out so much. I wanted to Google how do Wolverines truly kill in the wild, the animal, just so maybe this can help us. Killing techniques: suffocation. For larger animals, Wolverines may bite and clamp down on the throat. An ambush: Wolverine may leap from an elevated position, such as a rock or a tree, onto a large animal's back. A spinal attack: in some cases, a Wolverine may attack an animal like a reindeer by bite. Like what? Like a reindeer? Oh, not like a reindeer. I was like, reindeer don't bite, do they? They know to bite its spine to paralyze it. And then exploiting winter conditions, the Wolverine's large padded feet act like snowshoes, allowing it to move really quickly over deep, soft snow. There you go.
I love that.
I like it.
I think just like the Wolverine in the wild with its thick feet that lets it run on snow.
Soft snow.
Soft snow, excuse me. Thank you. Sorry. In Spider-Man, the bits when you're like running along a building but like just running to then leap into swinging, it's like a much accelerated version of a run. Like it's a superhero run. I think that there's going to be some of that. And then I'm sure like the jumping will be akin to the way that Spider-Man can jump really far as well. So I feel like it's going to just be like a lot like how Spider-Man feels without the swinging. And so the key will be the environments that they're in. Because if you take the swinging out of Spider-Man, the traversal in that game fucking blows. But that's because of the way that the world is built. So as long as they build it in a way that you don't yearn for that. And then I also think that it seems that there's going to be the motorcycle in some capacity. Whether those are scripted moments, who's to say? We don't know yet. But I do wonder if that's also a way to get around. If there are some bigger areas, like you were saying in Uncharted 4, Jake, if like there's a big area like that, maybe you can use the motorcycle, like the horse in The Last of Us Part 2, to just tread ground a little faster.
Imagine if you could like use your senses as Wolverine, and then like I can see it. There's like a silhouette of an enemy like beyond this wall, and you just fucking run through the wall, just break through the building, and fuck them up and ambush.
You guys are so good at this because I am like a fucking complete moron who only has his memories triggered by other people's thoughts, apparently. in the last year leading up to the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, I replayed X2 Wolverine's Revenge, the X-Men official game tie-in with X-Men 3, and X-Men Origins Wolverine Uncaged Edition for 360, the best Wolverine game ever made, and one of my favorite superhero fucking games. And there is a lot of answers, I feel like, in those games. Jerica, what you're saying about like the sense is a huge thing in, I think, X2, where you're constantly kind of going into like heightened senses mode and seeing silhouettes of other characters and then using that to do like takedowns. And there's a certain element of stealth in that game as well, which isn't something that was really apparent here. This was very rip and tear. And I think that there probably will be some of those slower sections where you're doing a lot of like sneak up behind them, take them, fucking slit their throat, and then keep it moving type of things. And I think bursting through the wall is definitely a thing.
Cord.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Wolverine is like in a lot of like comic stuff, he's a hunter. So it's like a lot of the time it's just head-to-head fucking battle. But I think, and like Coal Mines was asking, has Wolverine ever used his claws like picks to climb walls in movies? And for sure, like that's going to be a way that we get around if it's a tall place, is with the fucking claws. But I think there's going to be some stealthy type sections of like, how can I systematically take down all of these people as Wolverine with my fucking Wolverine sense by pressing L3 or whatever.
I will have so much relief for not having an open world checklist in this game. Please God, don't let it be overwhelming. That's the only thing that like just kills me in Spider-Man. I just feel like there's shit going on way too much, and then it's like all these checklists show up.
Sure, so, like, yeah, I don't think that we'll get that here.
I get excited about like a more tight, linear experience.
Mark me down for a wall run where he digs his claw into the wall to stay on it for longer.
Oh yeah, for sure. Or like, like in Spider-Man when you turn a corner on a building and he like does the like kind of swing like around with momentum. I bet there's going to be a claw version of that where you swing around. Oh, easy, book it. Also, I think I maybe want to push back a little bit, Jake. That I think people regard the Spider-Man combat as being quite good.
Really?
I think so.
I think for some reason, maybe it's just Spider-Man 1 that I'm thinking of. Maybe they've made it better. I feel like I remember people.
Or I'm in the minority because I think that the combat in those games are great. Like,
yeah,
if you especially to a play style that you want, it's like, but when you're like me and you want to be good at all of it, it's very difficult because there's just so many variations. But no, I think it's good. I don't think it's great because I think there's too many options. But what am I to say? People want options.
Coal Mines makes a good point that the second one didn't evolve it as much, and there were some people that were upset about that. I think their version of evolving the second one was just adding Miles as a playable character. And so you had his powers, which were the electric stuff.
I got a question, a follow-up question, but first let me talk about one more fucking very important move. The coolest move in any Wolverine game is the fucking long ass lunge, baby. Both claws out straight into the chest of an enemy that's way across the field. Goes so crazy. And in Uncaged Edition, you do that and you kind of do a flip and grab them and fucking throw them over your head. Yeah. Oh,
I bet if they don't do that, their own version of that, it'll be you can dive into somebody and then jump off them to have momentum to another enemy. I bet. Because you can kind of do that in Spider-Man where like you do the thing where you like do a flip, you jump down on the guy and then like spring off of him as Spider-Man. Right. I bet they do a Wolverine version of that.
I am so confident in them. They're going to just fucking make the best superhero game of all time. They're going to top Spider-Man. I think this is going to be the God of War of like superhero games. I truly think so. There's so much potential.
This conversation is like so encapsulating of why I like video games, why I like previewing video games and talking about them on podcasts with you guys. Of like, it's so fun when something hits just pitch perfectly and everybody is into it, and just the speculation of what it could be starts to get exciting. Like, what a fucking fun conversation to have about such a fun character and such a fun studio for a game that looks so good already. Like, this is the good shit right here. Like, more of this shit. Sony, and I know you're capable of it. Stop fucking sandbagging us. What are the other companies working on? Let us speculate a little bit more instead of just being completely fucking aimless, man.
Yeah.
Let us help you make the game. We got ideas. You know,
I got so many.
He's got so many.
Probably not.
You drop 5 games from this state of play and you end on Wolverine like you did. And I think this is like an easy 7, which, as far as the state of play is concerned, is a fucking win.
Yeah.
Because the more it's like it's the kind of thing where we talk about this and how good this game looked, and I'm like, I can't believe I'm only giving this a 5. But then I look back at the list, and I'm like, oh yeah, there was so much bullshit in this state of play. It just tricked me with the last 10 minutes being incredible.
Yeah, like 8 minutes.
They like to do that to us.
Hey, is the Venom game dead?
No.
You think that's still happening?
I think it's still happening. I just don't think. I think this like apparently comes out before it because there's no way that will need to come out before Wolverine. I think.
I wonder. If
I don't know unless there's nothing else coming. I mean,
I wonder if we'll ever find out how that leak affected them.
I think with how long it's taken Wolverine, I think that is, we're not going to know for certain, but I think that is probably something that was affected because, with a studio or a company like that, any company, whether they're public facing or not, if you have a leak like that, you have to fix it. And that's going to take time and resources and money and change things and make deadlines change and shit. So I bet there is a world in which this game was supposed to be a lot closer to release than the fall. But so then Venom, I bet falls into that too of okay, this fucking huge leak that was a problem that put our staff at risk. We need to focus. Let's put Venom to the side for a bit. Let's focus on Wolverine and protecting our people. And
Sony probably had them working on a whole other multiplayer online situation.
Probably.
Whenever the pivot was every studio should probably make one of these. Bungie, how do we do it? And then
I think they might have gotten away with not doing that. Here's the thing about the leak, because I didn't watch anything, but I did read pretty extensively. And the thing that worries me about Venom, and the thing that I think is the most fascinating about it, is that Venom was very clearly supposed to come out next, not Wolverine. And because it is supposed to be the Miles Morales experience that everyone is saying, where it's built off of the bones of Spider-Man 2. We already had, spoiler alert, playable Venom in that game. You expand on it, you make it a little bit bigger of a fucking situation, and then you kind of keep it popping. The Wolverine was supposed to come out next, and then it was very explicit what the fucking trajectory looks like. It's Wolverine after that, then Spider-Man 3, then Spider-Gwen as a spin-off of that. That's your Miles Morales, that's your Venom from the previous 2 games, and then it's Ratchet and Clank 9 or whatever Ratchet and Clank we're on right now. So I'm wondering, obviously Wolverine got crazy fucking delayed, but did Venom just move to make some room for it?
I think it probably just moved. And I also remember seeing rumors about Wolverine potentially leading to something bigger like X-Men, but I don't know if that's just someone making shit up or if that was real rumorage. Because the Spider-Gwen, is that something that was a real rumor, or is that just you're just pontificating?
No, I think Ike might be right. I think X-Men was also in that leak.
Yeah,
I think.
I think there was some X-Men leak.
The Spider-Gwen is also in that for sure.
Gotcha.
I'm forgetting X-Men.
Yeah, I think it's also probably the kind of thing where, because it's been so either Ratchet or Spider-Man from Insomniac for so long, that it could have been a up top call of we need to focus on something like Wolverine instead of more Spider-Man for now. I could see that being the reason of
especially
just a different flavor.
Too. Yeah, all right, let's maybe we don't need this, but this is where we are having the most fun making Wolverine, because I could only imagine how much they are just tired of not tired of Spider-Man, but this is a whole different type of game. This is a brand new game for them.
They would have been 2014 is probably when they started on Spider-Man for 2018 release. I mean, I'm sure they're very excited to be working on Wolverine. Colemine says maybe the majority or they majorly tweaked Venom and are now somehow using that to bridge Wolverine into an X-Men game. That's interesting. If they changed anything narratively.
That reminded me of something to ask y'all, if you know more about Marvel Cinematic Universe than I do, or just any universe, honestly, because X-Men coming into the fold, even in the MCU, I assume in the movies at some point, right? I don't know. I feel like it's enough. It's blended. I'm not an expert. Do they bring any Marvel characters? Is there a way to implement what universe? Because I remember the first Wolverine trailer, you learn which universe you're in, something's up on the board. It's a telltale
yeah.
What version of
Earth
Wolverine
or
we're getting.
whatever we're in. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just wonder if this is the same universe as Spider-Man that we know from Insomniac, or is this like brand new? And could they just use that as a stepping stone to bring in other characters? Like, I have no clue.
I feel like we have heard that this is the same universe as Spider-Man, but I'm not 100% on that.
Okay, so we have heard a little bit about that during, I want to say, the developer, the lead of like Spider-Man 2 did podcast rounds, I want to say.
Brian Intar first. Yeah.
About how they, for a little while, this is all cagey. The end result here, to tell you the ending of the story, is that we don't fucking know yet. But basically, they had initially said, yeah, there were plans for a Wolverine cameo or something that would kind of pull us in towards that. And then they decided, we don't know what's going on. Let's let them cook in their universe over there and not try to jump the gun or shoehorn something in if it doesn't make sense right now. So yeah, we don't know if it's going to connect. I would assume that yes, it's going to connect, but I do know also that I know, but it could be, it does get a little bit weird. I don't think it will be that weird, but it is a different deal that they signed for Wolverine, because they signed not only for Wolverine, but they signed for X-Men, according to those leaks. And the Spider-Man deal already existed. And the reason why I think the other kind of like interesting thing here when we're speculating about Venom and even talking about like the trajectory of this Wolverine game is that this is a very unique thing within Sony that I think probably lends credence to them not being affected by the live service push, and maybe why they're both one of like the most, I guess, unfazed. Like they have kind of stayed on their consistent path and put out games at a pretty rapid tick that are quality and of the same thing that we expect from an Insomniac games, is that the deal with fucking Marvel is really crazy. Like they have a massive fucking budget and then they give a huge cut of not even their profits, but like their net sales over to Marvel. Like it's like fucking staggering. It's like, I want to say it was like 15% of just like net sales of digital games just goes to them. And then it gets fucking insane. It's like a 30+% of the wholesale of the entire console bundle that they put out as well. And Spider-Man 2 was like the only way to get a PlayStation for a long time. Like there's a lot of money being played with and moving around with these fucking deals for sure. And I think that's why Insomniac's kind of marching to the beat of their own drum over there, is because it's not just playing with house money. They are also in this thing for Marvel and fostering that relationship and signing additional deals with them.
Yeah. I think it's probably a slam dunk at the very least that this game in some way references Spider-Man in New York City. But there's a lot of like, Jericho, of you like asking questions about like Marvel and X-Men and stuff. There's a lot of precedence of Spider-Man and Wolverine doing shit together. Like back in the day in the old cartoon, Wolverine would show up in the Spider-Man cartoon all the fucking time. Like I think it would totally make sense for like an Act 3 team up for whatever Omega Red is being controlled by, or whatever the fuck. Like, because we haven't talked about at all the Sentinels at the very, very end, which, it's so fucking good. If we're going to get to fight a huge fucking Sentinel as Wolverine,
we do that in Uncaged, and it's fucking awesome. Like the set piece is still unbelievable. It's so cool. And you crash it out of the air and it hits like a fucking meteor. It's unreal.
But I do wonder, to go to your point earlier, Jake, if that is a hint about timeline shit of like with them saying the thing about him being an unreliable narrator and his memory being fuzzy. I could see it being like jumping throughout his timeline of like, this is when he was in the X-Men. The Sentinels were a problem. We have Oliver Trask or whatever with running the Sentinels. Maybe there's like a set of missions about that, and then it's like, hard cut to him in Canada. He's not in the X-Men anymore. He's whatever, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Omega Red's after him for some reason or whatever. Like I could see them doing that, but not like a vignette style, but like as a way to introduce characters. We get a Cyclops cameo or whatever the fuck.
For sure.
Man, I'm so fucking jacked for this, dude.
Yeah,
the more I talk about it.
There's also, Ike makes a good point. He's going to Saros himself while listening to Uncle Phil, which is possible. I think that one thing that we haven't talked about yet, and maybe is worth it for this exact conversation, is the key art for this fucking game is maybe our best hint of if it takes place in the same universe or not. Because I would venture to say it does indeed, because the Wolverine key art and the cover art is very much in line with the Spider-Man cover art Like they look
for sure.
next to each other. You'll have the red Spider-Man one, the like yellow Wolverine one. How fucking dope would like a blue Captain America one look like in this fucking thing? Like there's so much that you can do with this universe, and they're crushing it so hard that I hope there's more that kind of coincides. I would love them. Imagine, listen, the MCU's having a hard time right now. Maybe we're fucking looking at the ICU right now, the Insomniac Cinematic Universe being born in front of us.
What are the chances that Marvel, with all that money that you're saying that Marvel is throwing into Insomniac, that they balloon that studio up and get them enough people that they essentially have like a whole extra team to be making another game, so that they don't just become a Marvel studio? Because even though as much as I want Wolverine, I don't want Insomniac to only make Marvel games.
I get it.
But I fear that that's like what their future is now.
Yeah, it's tough because you're talking to somebody who loves Ratchet and Clank so much. It's my favorite of those big like PS2 marquee first party characters, and every other one of those have gone by the wayside. No one touches Jak and Daxter. No one's thought about Sly Cooper since like the PlayStation 4. It is PlayStation 3. It is a really, really tough situation out there watching some of your favorite companies not get to work on what you'd like them to work on, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
no, for sure.
Insomniac seems like the only one that seems to be like the exception. And if they're doing all this Marvel stuff, it seems like they're probably enjoying doing this Marvel stuff, because the alternative, if they look at all the other peer studios that are being forced to work on Last of Us fucking factions and canceled Sony Bend projects, and Bluepoint Studios is doing a God of War games as a service thing, all of a sudden making another fucking Spider-Man doesn't sound so bad.
With how much they make on Spider-Man, and I mean, Wolverine is gonna be fucking huge. Like the gamers that are only playing Battlefield, they're gonna play a Wolverine game. Like,
yeah,
it's gonna be a fucking hit. And so I bet Insomniac, in the eyes of Herman Hulst and all of the people at the top of PlayStation, is like golden child of you just keep bringing in the money, making amazing games with not your own IP. Because like D-Guns in the chat, I desperately want them to make their own IP for sure. But then you make a great point of like, is the alternative that Insomniac does not exist potentially?
Yeah. For all intents and purposes, they tried making their own IP twice in the early 2010s, and neither effort went very well. They did Fuse. Wait, was it Fuse? Am I getting the games wrong?
I think no, you're not getting it wrong. I think it's Fuse.
Fuse, and then they did Sunset Overdrive, and I like both of those games a lot, but they failed to resonate with the consumer base. Like straight up, they were not successes. So the fact that they're still working on Ratchet and Clank is the best that we could maybe hope. But I also think it's interesting, Patrick, talking about your teams, that there's a really weird Insomniac fucking thing. Ted Price retired at the beginning of this year or late last year, or announced his retirement, or he's out now, and now they have 3 different people running the studio.
I remember that now.
So there's clearly a lot going on there, and man, that would be, if there is a single company outside of fucking Nintendo, because they're so secretive all the time, that I would love to see just like the fly on the wall documentary of the last fucking half decade. God, Insomniac reacting to the leak and the fallout from the leak and how it affects their stuff, their intricacies with the Marvel Studios and PlayStation studio heads, and the changing of the guard there with Herman Hulst, and like all the turnover up top, and the pivot from games as a service, and them potentially avoiding that. God damn,